Good morning, all of you. In today's session, we are going to start with 10th standard chemistry and physics, where unit number 7, classification of elements, the periodic table is going to be discussed. Series number 5 is going to be discussed now, where we are going to discuss about extensive deliberation about what are the groups and periods which are incorporated in the periodic table. In addition to this, we already completed unit number 1 to 6. So entire detailed description is available on the channel called the World of Competitive Chemistry. Now we are going to discuss about what are the categorization of all the elements in terms of their groups and periods in the modernized periodic table, which is given by Moseley. Let us go to the today's topic. We are going to discuss about what are the groups present in this modern periodic table. Vertical columns which are present in the periodic table are called groups. So here in the entire new periodic table, they are categorized into 18 groups. Earlier there are 8 groups in the Mendeleev's. They are upgraded into 18 groups in this new periodic table. They are represented using Roman numerals in the starting of this modern periodic table. They are indicated as 1 to 8 actually. And again, there will be a subcategorization like A and B in the traditional notational form, right? So Roman numerals are indicated as 1 to 8. Let us see that kind of indication. 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, and 8A. This is the one kind of classification. And the second will be, here you can see 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B, and 8B. 8B is the bunch of 3 groups in a single one, right? So this kind of 8 segmentation, 8 group classification was done by modern periodic table only, but it is in the earlier session, they made into Roman numerals, right? So now, so again, there is an advancement. Always we know that science, there is a continuous exploration. Science is the vision of continuous exploration always. In accordance with the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, again, these groups are modified into Arabic numerals from 1 to 18, where we rolled out A and B kind of designation. These kind of notations will be replaced with 1 to 18 in the continuous manner. Roman numerals will be indicated in this manner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Now they are replaced with the Arabic numerals 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Group 2, earlier it is indicated as a second A. Group 16, earlier it was like a sixth A. So these are now replaced with group 2 and 16 of Arabic numerals. Now let us see what will be the modified and modern periodic table, which is applicable and approved by the IUPAC. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There is no ambiguity and there is no any kind of doubt rising because there is a continuation. So that everybody can easily understand in the simplified manner. That's the reason why this is widely accepted by International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. Now, group of elements are also called as elemental family, and they're also regarded as a chemical family. So each and every group, that is nothing but a vertical one. So where you can find a series of elements having resemblance in their physical as well as chemical properties. These are collectively denoted as either elemental family or chemical family, right? So for instance, we are taking an example of 3rd A or 13th group called a boron family, where you can find a boron as a starting one with the valency of 3 and 4 metals are present. From the bottom up to aluminum, you can say these are metals and boron will be the non-metallic. So in this boron, aluminum, gallium, indium, thallium is the series where you can find the resemblance in their properties. Aluminum is the most abundant metal in the earth crust. So it is the first most abundant metal and mostly available in the form of ores only, right? Oxide ore is available for this aluminum called bauxite. It is found in the mineral called bauxite. Most of our laboratory glassware contains a boron. So everybody know that borosilicate kind of material is available in the construction of glass. Glass is nothing but supercooled liquid, right? Which helps in preventing from shattering when heated. So these kind of glassware is also valuable. Most familiar material to us, whatever glassware we are using, those are made up of borosilicate, and still no new kind of materials available, but boron is the prominent material in the manufacturing of glass, right? So aluminum is the first most abundant metal available on the earth crust in the form of bauxite. Most abundant ore for this one, you can say mineral even, for aluminum will be the bauxite. So this is about a group 13th or boron family. So in the similar manner, if you go with first A group, when you consider the first A group, that is having the outermost electronic configuration, that is a common configuration NS1, and that entire family is denoted as a alkali metal. Alkali denotes a base forming material. So all group 1 elements are having the tendency to form bases when added with water. That's the reason why all these are regarded as alkali metal family. So in this manner, the entire periodic table is represented as a family of elements in this way. First group elements are said to be alkali metal family. Second group elements are called alkaline earth family. And entire D block elements are regarded as a transition metal family. And the third group elements, what you can say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, and subsequently 13th group elements are said to be boron family. And 14th group elements are called carbon family, 15th group nitrogen family, 16th group called oxygen family, and 17th group called halogen family, and 18th group, this is a called noble gas configuration, and stablest among all the known elements in this periodic table, and a noble gas family it will be. So here 4F series is regarded as a lanthanide series, 5F series is denoted as a actinide series. This is about the entire description of periodic table in terms of elemental family, right? So now we are going to do activity based on these groups. Some main group elements of S block and P block. S block and P block together called representative elements, and alternatively known as main group elements, have the family names as shown in the given table. Observe the long form of the periodic table. Already we know Mendeleev periodic table is called a shorter one. Moseley periodic table is called a long form. That means the enlarged, extensive, right? Long form of the periodic table was given. That is a by using that long form of periodic table, we could have to complete this activity. Let us see what is the activity we are going to perform. That is activity number 2, where group numbers are provided within the problem. Only group numbers are given 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These are the group numbers which are already given, and name of the elemental family is also provided. Alkali metal, first group always denoted as alkali metal family. Second group is called alkaline earth family. 13th group called a boron family. 14th group carbon family. 15th group nitrogen family. 16th being it is denoted as a oxygen family. 17th designated as a halogen family, and eventually 18th group is called noble gas family. Now, let us give the number of element from which you are going to start and up to which element there will be in that series. These are the columns which are given as an empty, the activity to be filled by the individuals, right? So in case of alkali metal, it will be started with lithium, followed by sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. So that starting element will be lithium and ended up with the francium. Their common valency shell configuration will be NS1. So whatever element you are taking, all are compressed with a similar electronic configuration. This is called a generalized electronic configuration in their outermost shell, right? NS1 is the common oxidation state, common electronic configuration for alkali metal family, where how many electrons you can find? Only one electron will be there, and subsequently their valency will be 1. Valency of any element is designated as number of bonds it able to form, otherwise number of electrons it will lose or gain. That is denoted as the valency of any element. So this is about first group called alkali metal. Now let us move on to group 2. where we have alkaline earth metal, it will be started with beryllium and ended up with a radium, radioactive element, first introduced radioactive element in the entire periodic table. And its common electronic configuration is denoted as NH2, where 2 electrons will be there in its outermost shell, and always they are having bivalency, means 2 bonds they are able to form, otherwise 2 electrons will be lost. When you take the simplest example, calcium, in calcium carbonate you can find calcium is in calcium plus 2 state, right? That means 2 electrons lost. So valency of these elements, alkaline earth metals, why it is denoted as alkaline earth metal means because they are extracted from the earth. You may take beryllium and beryllium followed by calcium, strontium, barium, radium. Most of these elements are extracted from the earth crust. That's why they are denoted as alkaline earth metals. And common electronic configuration will be NH2, and they resided with 2 electrons in its valency shell and able to form 2 bonds. And move on to 13th group, denoted as a boron family, started with boron, ended up with thallium, whose outer shell configuration will be NH2 NP1. How many electrons you can find in the valency shell? 2 plus 1 called a 3. Total outermost shell electrons are 3. Subsequently, they are able to form 3 bonds. I'm taking the simplest example, boron. When you take boron chloride, BCl3, in that boron surrounded with the 3 chlorines in the planar structure, so that boron, not only boron, all the elements present in this 13th group, boron family, are able to constitute 3 bonds. So hence you can say trivalent in nature. So valency will be 3. 3 bonds they are able to form. And move on to 14th group, denoted as a carbon family, started with the element called carbon and ended up with a lead, right? So here, as we are descending down, metallic property of these elements are gradually increasing, and their common electronic configuration will be designated as NH2 NP2. How many electrons you can find? 2 electrons in s orbital and more 2 electrons in p orbital, so that total valency electron count will be 4. 4 electrons, so that, they are able to form 4 bonds around them. Carbon is tetravalent in nature. When you take methane, it able to form 4 bonds around that. When you take CCl4, 4 bonds will be possible. So that common valency of this carbon family will be 4. And in terms of electron releasing tendency, you can say zero valent also. Sometimes it is also designated as zero valent because neither releases nor accepts electrons by these elements, so that zero valency also possible, but commonly observed one will be 4. Move on to 15th group, and designated as a nitrogen family, and started with the element called nitrogen, ended up with bismuth. And the general electronic configuration of these elements will be NH2 NP3. Total of 5 electrons resided in their shell, so that total number of valency electrons are given as 5. And their valency is a range, not the individual digit. You may go from 1 digit to any other. So that 3 to 5 is the range of a valency exhibited by these elements. I'm taking simplest example, nitrogen. So when you go with ammonia, how many bonds around nitrogen? Ammonia is NH3. Means nitrogen surrounded by 3 bonds with 3 hydrogens. That is the common valency of nitrogen. Nitrogen will not form 5 bonds around that. What could be the reason? Even though we have 5 outermost electrons, but nitrogen fails to form 5 bonds around that. The reason will be absence of d orbitals. Only sp subshells will be available in nitrogen, so its valency restricted to 3. In H3, you can find 3 bonds, trivalent in nature. But when you move on to next element called the nitrogen phosphorus, in case of phosphorus, being it is associated with d orbital, you can find pentavalency. PCl5 is also available, right? That's the reason why here there is a range of valency which exhibited by nitrogen family, 3 to 5 you can see. Move on to 16th group called oxygen. Oxygen family is alternatively known as chalcogen family, whose elements will be started with oxygen and ended up with the polonium. Again, you can say polonium is a radioactive metal, right? Outermost electronic configuration will be NH2 NP4. total valence electron count will be 6. 2 plus 4, you can say 6 electrons are available. So again, you can find out the valency of these elements 2 to 6. Again, it will be the range, but commonly observed one will be 2. Take the simplest example, oxygen. If you go with water, in water, oxygen is surrounded with 2 hydrogen atoms, so that its valency will be 2. So bivalent in nature, right? When you go with sulfur, H2S is there, dihydrogen sulfide. There, sulfur able to form only 2 bonds, but it will be extended up to 6. Means there is a possibility of 6 bonds around that central element. If you take sulfur, SaCl6 is the common compound available. Means sulfur able to form 6 bonds with the 6 chlorine atoms. So that's the reason why there is a range of valency which is indicated for oxygen family, but commonly observed valency will be 2. Move on to 17th group, commonly known as halogen family. The name halogen denotes most of the elements of this family are extracted from the sea or marine region, marine salts. Elements started with fluorine and ended up with astatine. Astatine is also regarded as a radioactive element, which is a artificially synthesized element, and whose outermost electronic configuration will be Ns2 Np5. Differentiating electron is present in the p orbital. Hence, you can say this is a family of p block element. And the outermost electron count will be 2 plus 5. Totally 7 electrons will be there in its valency shell. Now, let us see valency of these elements. Valency denotes what? How many electrons are transported, otherwise how many bonds it able to form. Again, here is the range of valency designated for these elements 1 to 7, but commonly observed valency for halogen family will be 1. If you consider fluorine in HF, how many bonds between hydrogen and fluorine? Only 1 bond. HCl, 1 bond. HBr, 1 bond. HI, hydrogen iodide, hydroiodic acid, again 1 bond is observed. So that the common valency of these elements will be 1 only, but generally iodine is able to form 7 bonds around that. And move on to last group of this activity will be 18th group. 18th group is designated as a noble gas family, started with helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and eventually radon is the last element. You can say radon is the radioactive element. Radon is designated as a radioactive element, and their general electronic configuration will be Ns2 Np6. How many electrons you can find in this? 2 plus 6, total 8. Because of this 8, the name octet rule was given, because it is the completely filled state where you can find the highest stability for this one. 8 electrons are observed in the valency or outermost shell. That's the reason why there is no tendency either to lose or accept the electrons. That is denoted as valency 0. These elements most commonly observed as a monovalent in nature, zero valent in nature and monoatomic in nature. Zero valent in the sense, if you see helium, it doesn't form any bond with any other. If you go with neon, again neon is monoatomic, but exceptionally xenon is able to form some kind of oxides and fluorides, oxyfluorides even. So that is the exceptional case, but most commonly noble gas elements are inert in nature. They will not participate in any kind of chemical reactions, being they are associated with stable electronic configuration, right? This is about the activity with the reference to elements started to ended, and what is the generalized electronic configuration in their valency shell, and subsequent possible electrons deposited in their valency electronic configuration, and how many bonds they are able to form. So this table was filled, and move on to next segment called the periods. Here, just now we discussed about vertical columns called groups. Each group consisting a series of elements all are having resemblance or relevance in their chemical as well as physical properties. And in contradictory way, periods are designated in the horizontal rows, right? When we move on from left to right hand side, that kind of horizontal rows are designated as a periods. right? So in the entire periodic table, there are 7 periods are available, which are ranges from 1 to 7. Number of main shells designated with their period number. So that is nothing but principal quantum number is assigned for this period. When you go with the first period, which is accompanied by only 2 elements, this is the shortest period in the entire periodic table, which is associated with only 2 elements. One is hydrogen, second is helium, right? Hydrogen is the lightest element in the entire periodic table, and helium is the first noble gas which is present in this first period. This is denoted by the main shell K. Therefore, this is designated as a period number 1. And similarly, move on to period number 2, and it is designated as L, where elements from lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and eventually neon. These many elements are present. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 elements will be there. This is called short period. First period is called shortest. Second is called a short period, designated as a L. And a quantum number of this will be n is equal to 2. Hence, period number is also designated as 2. Here, you can find first period associated with the elements of hydrogen and helium. And the second period is accompanied by lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. These many elements are accompanied in the period number 2. Always, in order to give the strategic definition for this period, a horizontal row of the periodic table is a called period. Each period corresponding to successive occupation of orbitals in the valence shell of atom. Lithium to beryllium, 1 more electron will be added. Beryllium to boron, more 1 electron will be added. Consecutive increase in the atomic number, that is called a period. From left to right, there is a continuous progress in their atomic number can be visualized. Those are called the periods. And some facts we have to know regarding this elemental family names. Do you know how the name of certain families of elements are derived? Right? Alkali metal family. So first group elements are also designated as alkali metal family. Aliquil is nothing but plant ash. So from this ash, most of the metals are most of the first group elements were extracted. That's the reason why the name was designated based on that alkali metal. Even in our body, you can find sodium and potassium. All these are available. All the living organisms are associated with these alkali metals, so that these are most relevant with the biological organisms. Alkali metal family. And the next is about chalcogen family. Oxygen is alternatively known as chalcogen family. Chalcogen is nothing but ore producing. So ore is the product which is generated by the combination of metal with another materials, right? So these ores will be extracted, processed in such a manner, and eventually gives rise to the pure product of metal, right? So most of the chalcogens are the major part in the ore formation of most of the metals. When you go with bauxite, just now we discussed aluminium is the abundant metal available on the earth crust, which is mostly available in the form of bauxite. Bauxite is present in the form of Al2O3, and the water hydrated form of Al2O3 will be there. So that means oxide state will be there. So oxide is nothing but a chalcogen family element. When you go with iron pyrites, iron is the most required metal on the earth, because most of the things, whatever we want in the industrial process, all are not all, most of the things are made up of around 80% of machinery and any other constructional frameworks are composed of that iron and its related compounds. And those are mostly available in the earth crust, either in the form of oxides or sulfides. Iron oxides are called iron, what we can say, ferrite material will be there, magnetite material will be there. If iron present in the form of sulfide, that is called iron pyrites. So all these are the materials which are present as the members of this chalcogen family only. So chalcogen means what? Ore producing material. So most of the ores are present in the form of these oxides, sulfides, like that only, right? And the next is about halogen. Halo means what? The materials which are extracted from marine region or seashore. and the genus means originated, produced, right? So here, when you go with the fluorine, bromine, and iodine, all these materials are abundantly available in the marine ocean regions. So all these are mostly extracted from the sea salts. If you go with iodized salt, we can see in our daily life we are using our table salt, iodized salt, where iodine abundance will be there. And the salt is nothing but sodium chloride itself, rock salt. So in that manner, whatever halogen family elements are present, all are extracted from sea salt. That's why the name halo was given. Halo denotes what? Sea. And next is about noble gas. Noble gas resides in the 18th group, and the chemically least reactive, you can say inert. All are inert in nature. They are not prone towards any kind of chemical and physical reactions, being all are having a very stable electronic configuration called NH2NP6. They are strictly obeying octet configuration. That's the reason why they are neither be losing electrons nor be accepting, right? So they are strictly following octet rule. Based on their outer shell configuration only, the term called octet rule was framed. So because of their inertness, they are regarded as a noble gas family, right? Now, in extension to the things related with the period, the number of elements present in the period depends upon how the filling of electrons are proceeded, right? How we are going to fill the electrons in that period. Based on that, here the type of period will depends. When you take the group number 1, all group number 1 having general electronic configuration of NS1, group number 2 will have NS2, third group will have NS2NP1, fourth group will have NS2NP2, fifth group will have NS2NP3. These are the general electronic configuration with respect to groups. But in case of period, what happens? In the same subshell, we are not going to add any new one. For example, let us move on from hydrogen to helium. I'm taking the simplest example, comparing hydrogen to helium, which are residing in the first period. Hydrogen is associated with 1s1 electronic configuration, and subsequently helium with 1s2. Means in the same main group, we are going to add one more electron without adding any main shell. So that is the kind of progress in the period propagation. Now let us fill the electrons. Let us have the discussion about different periods which are located in the entire new modern periodic table. When you look into first period, where it is designated as K shell having only 2 elements. One is hydrogen, second is helium. Hydrogen is associated with only 1 electron, and helium, being it is completely filled, NH2. That means 1s2 electronic configuration will be there. So first period is only with the 2 elements in this entire periodic table. Move on to second period. So in the second period, you can say it is the L shell. Principal quantum number is given as 2. Second period it will be. The elements of second period are started with the lithium. Lithium followed by beryllium will be there. Beryllium followed by boron. Boron followed by carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. These are the elements which are residing in this second group, where electrons are subsequently added to second principal quantum number, right? So here lithium 2s1 followed by beryllium 2s2, boron 2s2 2p1, boron followed by carbon 2s2 2p2, nitrogen 2p3, oxygen 2p4, fluorine 2p5, neon 2p6. In this manner, in the same main group, we are going to add one more electron. So there is a progress in the same main shell. We are not going to add any extra shell to that one. So that is a kind of second group. So second group is associated with the 8 elements which are started from lithium, subsequently beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and eventually neon. So this is a kind of order, and the same will be started with S block and ends up with a P block, right? So this is about second period with 8 elements. Now move on to third period, where it is designated as M shell and the principal quantum number N is equal to 3. So in this, we have 3 subshells. One is 3s, 3p, and 3d, right? 3s means 2 elements, 3p means 6 elements, total 8, 8 plus 10, total 18 elements will be resided in this. Again, 8 elements will be resided in this. Elements from sodium, magnesium, and 6 p block elements will be there. Aluminium to argon. So aluminium to argon, all these elements will be resided in this M shell, right? So here sodium, magnesium, followed by aluminium, argon, aluminium to argon. These are the elements which are present in this group number 3, right? So this is designated as M shell, called main shell. Move on to fourth period, where it is denoted as N shell. 4s, 4p, 4d, and even 4f subshell is also there, right? But here filling of electrons are possible, 4s, 3d, and 4p only. Here in this period, the series of filling electrons will be following the order. 4s will be filled first, later on 3d, later on 4p. So that here 4s with 2 elements, 3d with 10 elements, 4p with 6 elements, total 18 elements resided in this orbital in this period. And here you can find fourth period: potassium, calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromine, and krypton. Right? Started with the S block element and ended up with the noble gas element. Entire series consists of 18 elements here. So it is said to be a long period. You can say this is a long period in the periodic table with 18 elements. First 4s series will be filled, so that potassium, calcium residing in 4s, and 3d 10 elements will be there, started from scandium to zinc, and 4p started from gallium to krypton. This is about the entire series with relevant to this group number, period number 4, where 18 elements will be there. Now move on to fifth period. Fifth period, where subshells will be, in the fifth period, subshells will be 4a, 5s will be there, 4d orbital will be there, and subsequently, what you can say, 5p orbital also resided here. So here 5 is related with 2 elements, rubidium and strontium. Then 4d related with yttrium to what, cadmium. 10 elements from this what we can say, D block, and long form periodic table. These are the long forms of periodic table, and elements started with rubidium ends up with xenon. 2 elements of S block, namely rubidium and strontium. These two related with S block: yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver called argentinum, cadmium. These are resided in the D block. Indium, tin called stannum, strontium, tellurium, iodine, xenon. These are the elements resided in the P block. This entire series is said to be fifth period. The principal quantum number. So yes, this fifth period is denoted with O. O period, it will be consisting 18 elements, long form of a period it will be, and started with rubidium, ends up with xenon. Move on to sixth period. Sixth period, you can say it is the longest one. It will be the longest one. Why we are saying longest? Let us see. There are 32 elements resided here, because
A block elements also came into the picture of the 6th period. A block also accompanied in the 6th period. That's the reason why you can find 32 elements in the 6th period. It is the longest period in the entire periodic table, right? So here it will be started with cesium of S block element and ends up with radon. Ends up with radon of noble gas. Okay. So here S block elements of 6s will be there, and followed by 14 elements of A block. 4F series will be included. So here 2 plus 14, 16, and 10 elements with contribution of D block. So here what happens? 16 plus 10, 26. 26 followed by 6 elements contributed by P block elements, right? 26 plus 6, how many? 32 elements. Total 32 elements will be there in this 6th group, where here we have cerium to lutetium. These are 4F series elements which are called lanthanides. These are the proceeding elements of cerium, and it will be started with cerium to lutetium. Total 14 elements of A block will be incorporated here, right? So here cesium, barium, these two elements belongs to what? These two elements belongs to S block, and followed by lanthanum, hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, osmium, iridium, platinum, arum, and silver, mercury. These elements are the part of D block. 10 D block elements will be there. Cerium to lutetium, this is the series of lanthanides called 4F series. 4F series A block elements will be incorporated, and subsequently more 6 elements are provided by P block. More 6 elements are provided by P block. Those are also incorporated. That's why total 32 elements will be there. That entire description is provided here. Let us see in detail about the 6th period, where cesium, barium, these two belongs to S block. 2 elements completed. Lanthanum is the part of D block only. Lanthanum, hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, osmium, iridium, platinum, aurum, and eventually mercury. Hierarchium, you can say. In the chemical term, hierarchium is the chemical name of this one. So this is the series belongs to D block. And next, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, iridium, terbium, ytterbium, lutetium. These are the elements which are the part of lanthanide series called A block elements, and followed by thallium, lead, bismuth. Lead is called plumbum. In the scientific terms, Pb, plumbum. Thallium, plumbum, bismuth, polonium, astatine, radon. These are the elements which are the part of P block. So entire, let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. So these many elements, you can say longest period in the periodic table, which is associated with 2 S block elements, 10 D block elements, 14 A block elements, 6 P block elements. Okay. Now move on to last period in the periodic table called the 7th period. This is said to be incomplete, but moreover, we can find newly introduced elements in the periodic table. You can say even it is also completed one, but in general, it is incompleted, but newly introduced metals are also incorporated here. We can say it is a completed one also, right? So here authorized attentive data said that up to 115 elements are known, but in this diagram we incorporated even up to 118th element also. Now 7th period, in general it is said to be an incomplete one. 2 elements are given from S block called francium and radon. These two are the radioactive metals, right? So radium is the first invented radioactive metal. 2 elements from the S block, 7 is contributing this series, and 14 elements from the 5 series. Ranges from thorium, thallium, uranium, neptunium, plutonium, americium, curium, berkelium, californium, einsteinium, fermium, mendelevium, nobelium, and the laurentium. Most of the scientists' names and the territory names are provided to these elements because all these are newly invented and having a wide range of applications, being all are radioactive in nature. This 5 series 14 elements are given from thorium to laurentium. Right. Now let us move on to 10 elements of D block. These are constituted by the 6 D series. Let us count actinium, rutherfordium. This is called debrizzium, seaborgium, borium, HS hasianium, MTDS, RGCN, NHFL, MC muscovium, LVTS, OG. These are the elements which are newly introduced. And these from this actinium to CN, these elements are said to be the part of D block, and NH, nihotium to this OG, these are the elements which are the part of 7P, P block elements. So this is about the 7th period. If it is completed again, you can say it is also associated with 32 elements, and you can say it is also the longest period in the periodic table. And these are the elements newly introduced. So this is about the period 7. So this is a general short form glance regarding these periods. Period number 1 is associated with only 2 elements. You can say very short period in the entire periodic table with only 2 elements. Period number 2 and 3 are having identical number of elements in those series, and these are said to be short periods. Period number 4 and 5 together are associated with 18 elements respectively, so that these are called long periods. Period number 6 and 7, period number 6 is with 32. If so, if all the elements of group period number 7 also invented, you can say this is also with the 32 elements, and these two are together designated as very long periods in the periodic table. This is about the complete glance about each and every period which are present in the modern periodic table. And this is another kind of categorization. Period number 1 is associated with only 1 s, and where only 2 electrons, 2 subshells will be present, and maximum number of electrons contributed in only 1 subshell will be 2, and the total number of elements also 2 here. And period number 2 is associated with 2 subshells, 2s and 2p. Maximum capacity of occupation will be 8 electrons, and maximum possible elements in this period will be 8. Period number 3 is associated with the 2 subshell, 3s and 3p, and where maximum capacity of occupants of electrons will be 8, and 8 elements are incorporated in this third period. Period number 4, 4s, 3d and 4p kind of subshells will be located. S with 2, D with 10, P with 6, total 18 maximum capacitance of electrons are available eventually. 18 elements are incorporated in this period. Period number 5, 5F, 5S, 4D and 5P. These are the subshells located with the 18 maximum capacitance of electrons, and subsequently 18 elements are incorporated here. And the 6th period is associated with the subshells of 6S, 4F, 5D, 6P. These are the kind of subshells which are located in the 6th period, and the maximum contribution of electrons in this period will be up to 32. And here you can say it is the longest period because it is accompanied by 32 elements here. And 7th period is associated with 7s, 5f, 60, 7p kind of subshells with 32 maximum capacitance of electrons to fill. And you can say here also 32 if all are invented in general. And this is a kind of strategic representation of all the periods in the tabular way. Now we are going to give the extra addition of points relevant to this modern periodic table. This IDA means higher, and chlorine called chloride. So they are used to acquire the electron. They are used to acquire the electron, accepting the electron. That's why these are ide. Negative charge is denoted by the ide, chloride. hydride. In that way, any negative charge associated with the element is denoted with ide, means hiring the electron. So here OID means a same. OID, metalloid. Metalloid, we can term this OID for metalloids, where the resemblance with the properties of metals, not exactly. That kind of terminology will be incorporated in the modern periodic table. Some scientists suggested lanthanides to be incorporated along with the main periodic table without subsiding them. And some are contradicting that statements. Another argument is also there. Scandium to yttrium should be included in the lanthanides. These are the elements having resemblance with the lanthanide elements. These are some of the argumental statements, controversial statements, which are provided in order to modify further, because they are doing the exploration research upon these elements. Based on that, one of the conception is that lanthanum to ytterbium, these elements should be incorporated in the main periodic table. And one more assumption is that scandium and yttrium, these are the elements should be present in the lanthanides, because there is a more relevance with these. All these suggestions have the substance, because scandium, ytterbium, lanthanum to lutetium have the similar outer shell configuration. That's the reason why they are arguing to recontributing the elements in this modern periodic table too. Also, in the case of actinides, there are different arguments like actinide, thorium to lawrencium, actinium to nobelium, actinium to lawrencium. Such a kind of modification they are expecting. And there is another interesting fact we have to know: why a block elements are separate, why we are not incorporating all these in the mainstream, why they are separately kept beyond this periodic table. A block elements are known as lanthanides, and actinides are shown separately in the bottom of the periodic table. What could be the main reason for that one? I collected this answer from Topper. Thank you for giving your contribution. Why lanthanides and actinides placed separately at the bottom of periodic table? The reason will be, if all these elements also incorporated in the mainstream, what happens? The periodic table will be elaborated. That will become very long, extremely long, and it will not suitable to frame in the single page. For our convenience, those elements are kept separately and studied extensively. If all those elements, all 14 elements, 14 plus 14, 28 elements of a block also incorporated in the main periodic table, in this way, in a large periodic table will be there, it is not possible to apply in general. That's the reason why, for our convenience, these elements are kept apart, and extensive studies also provided. And one more answer which I collected for the same question from Doubtnet. Thank you for your contribution too. Periodic table will become very lengthy, and the groups will become increased by another 14. More 14 groups. Already we have 18 groups in the main periodic table. If a block elements also incorporated in the mainstream, what happens? More 14 groups we have to increase. More 14 blocks should be needed. That is not convenient to frame in a single page. That's the reason why it is not practically applicable to frame the all elements in the single stream. That's the reason why a block elements are separately kept. By this, we have completed extensive study about the individual groups and periods which are mentioned in the modern periodic table. I think this session will be helpful for your preparation. Thank you very much for your consistent listening. Thank you one and all.